Welcome to another Get Good at Business highlight. I am your host and business coach, Taylor Proctor, here to help you get good at business so you can get back into the heart of why you got into business in the first place. And of course, we do that through utilizing the areas of the I Move method, which stands for intuition, marketing, operations, velocity, and execution. And it is my honor today to be joined by the incredible business owner, Traci Everett. Traci, thanks so much for hopping on today.
Taylor, thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So Traci is going to be pulling back the curtain on her business as it pertains to the areas of the I Move method. Because here at the podcast, we believe that if you can learn and grow from different business owners in different industries at different levels, we can all get good at business together. So Traci is a former educator whose passion for empowering neurodivergent women entrepreneurs to change the world. She is so passionate about that. Her experience with students and families has helped her to understand the challenges and the opportunities that come with ADHD and other forms of neurodivergence. She believes that everyone benefits when people who have brains that work differently thrive. These are the people that bring the best things into the world. And her business, RealFocus, uses individual and group coaching to empower neurodivergent women entrepreneurs to change the world through their own businesses. She uses research-based methods to ensure that her clients have the accountability and strategies they need to succeed and thrive in every area of their lives, not just business. So, Traci, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to dive into your story, going from education and teaching to coaching and specific for neurodivergent women entrepreneurs is such a incredible niche. I would love to hear how your experience as an educator has really shaped your passion for your business and helping neurodivergent women.
Yeah, so I was in education for more than 30 years, and I could see students who were so bright and so able, and yet they would come across challenges because of, forgetting to turn in their homework or being late everywhere or whatever. And it was hard to help them, like to help other people see their gifts and talents because all they could see was they're not doing the thing, jumping through the hoop, whatever the hoop was.
Right.
And, here's the thing, those people that were my students, they're growing up, right? And they've become adults. And so I know that they have those gifts and talents and abilities to spark the world as you mentioned in the bio, but like it's hard. So helping them to overcome that. And here was an interesting thing. I also figured out after I left the school setting that I had always said I work with people who were neurodivergent, and wasn't one, but I'm a big fan. And then it was like, oh, I don't have the structure anymore around when I'm supposed to do stuff. Like the bell doesn't ring and tell me when it's time to eat lunch and all the other things. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that I am undiagnosed, but also neurospicy myself. So that's been enlightening to see that about myself.
Yeah, and it's so interesting how structures or lack of structures can be so eye-opening to how we
Yeah,
actually function in the world. So,
yeah,
I would love to know, especially because it's to my understanding, like neurodivergence, especially like ADHD and autism, are very underdiagnosed in women. So you working specifically with female entrepreneurs who have
right.
ADHD. Tell me a little bit more about that and how that's your defined niche.
Yeah, so as I stepped into this world and also realized that, hey, something's going on here with me,
Yeah.
the programs that I went through to try and figure this thing out, how do I run a business after spending all of those years not running a business? I mean, being in schools is definitely, I mean, it is a business, but it's not like, being in the classroom is certainly not, I didn't have the tools that I needed. I'm an excellent coach. And I believe that the experience that I have from all of those years as an educator, and then also the training that I went through to actually learn how to coach people who have ADHD, I feel very confident about my ability to coach. It's all those other pieces that I've
It's
had to
it's
figure out.
business aspect.
Right, right. And that was not part of our training when I went through the coach training. So I've had to join some other programs, and it's been incredibly insightful and helpful, but also frustrating. And what I discovered was it wasn't only me who was feeling like, hey, I know this is like good, but it's missing. It's not hitting me where I need the help and support. So after talking to lots of my fellow mastermind people and whatever, I was like, oh, there's something missing. And again, going back to what I believe about neurodiversity, which is that people who are neurodiverse have so much to offer the world, and we spend their entire schooling squashing all of that to a great extent. So it's like, as we're adults and we need to figure this out, like, how can we help them to manage, and not only manage in their businesses, which is hugely important, but also to manage in life and to get the things done that they need to get done to fulfill their own dreams.
I love that. And I often have found that with my neurospicy, my neurodivergent clients, that one of the biggest hangups when they're first starting out is trying to do it right because it's
Oh,
been so ingrained and
oh,
squashed
yeah,
one way, and this is the schooling system and all of those things, that to
yeah,
break the mindset of there is no right, there is no wrong, there is no good, there is no bad,
right.
what it makes sense for you.
Yeah, perfectionism in this whole arena is so different than perfectionism in schools. And we bring it. We just do. Like, we can't, if we've spent a long time trying to be perfect, I mean, it's a bad plan anyway. So that's one thing I work on with my clients with is like, we're not going to be perfect, and that's not a helpful paradigm for you. So,
Right. Well, and I love that too, because I think it's a really good bridge to the areas of the I move, kicking off with intuition. Because when, as entrepreneurs, and especially as women business owners that are on the neurodivergent scale, right, there is this like, I've got to do it perfect, it's got to be right. And when we look at intuition in the I move method, it's really about creating strategies that align and are congruent to your unique needs. So, how do you tap into your intuition to tailor those strategies or customize those strategies for each of your clients' needs?
yeah. So, learning to listen to my intuition through this whole business thing and in helping clients has been a journey. I mean, it's like, do I trust myself? And so that kind of spiritual aspect of having to figure out who I am and what I believe about myself and about how the world works, like, it's been a whole shift for me. And I think in large part because of the entrepreneur, you know, that whole journey. And then also to encourage my clients to trust themselves and to figure out what is important and why are they in the business that they're in and why are they building this thing that they're building. So that's been, learning to trust myself so that I can also help my clients to trust themselves. It's been fun, and I've learned so much.
And I think that's huge too as we move to the M of I move, which is all about marketing, right? Trusting yourself to make the decisions of how to market your business or how to connect with your audience. So, what marketing strategies have you found to be the most effective in really reaching and connecting with your ideal client that is that neurodiverse female entrepreneur?
Yeah. So most of my clients to this point have been people that I either knew or were connected to, referrals from people that I knew. And I'm just beginning to see, I've been a couple of years like trying to figure this thing out. So I'm beginning to have some Google Media, like the Google Suite, the whole business page. Some local people have found me. So that's really fun, because I moved when I decided to make this shift from schools to entrepreneurship. My husband and I, well, when I talked to my husband about this, he's like, "Sure, we can do that, but can we move back to New York?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So we moved from San Francisco to Long Island,
Oh, way across the country.
way across the country. So like I know that all of these local people that I'm connecting with for the most part are not people that I know or so that's been fun.
Yeah.
And then I've also hired a virtual assistant who has just been so great at helping me figure out how to better deal with the whole marketing thing and emails and social media, and those things are intimidating, and it's been a learning curve, but it's feeling more and more comfortable. And I've also learned so much about delegation. Like as an educator, we're not encouraged to delegate very much of anything to anyone. You're supposed to do all of the things
Because there's
and
no budget
then
for
do
anybody
some
else.
more things. No, exactly. You're not only supposed to do all your things, you got to do all the rest of the things. You've got to do the carpool and the lunch duty and the all of the things. And so learning to let go of some things and to say, here are my ideas about what I want, and here's who I am. And now, yes, you take this and go and create something beautiful for me. Because I could maybe do it, but it's not going to look very good in the end. And it's definitely going to take a long time, which is time when I could be coaching. And that's what I want to do. I want to do the coaching. I don't want to create pretty things on social media for the most part.
I love that. And I mean, delegation is obviously a key part of like operational support. Our operations is the O of the I move method. But also at the beginning of our discussion, we talked a lot about structure. And I think operations are the structure that's often needed for business owners as well.
Yeah.
So, what operational systems and processes have you implemented to really ensure that everything runs smoothly for your business?
Yeah, so I started with mostly Google Suite tools because they were familiar and they were comfortable. So, I still use my Google Calendar and Google Tasks and those kinds of things, and that they do give me the structure that I need to get started. But then I've added Calendly. Oh my gosh, how I mean, how could I run a business if I was trying to back and forth with everyone? When are we going to meet? When are we going to meet? Like no, like learning to use those kinds of tools, invoicing systems, all those kind of financial records, like all that stuff. So learning to pull together the pieces, it's been um, again a learning curve, but something that I'm pleased with the systems that I have in place, and I know I have more to learn, and will continue to add to the structure that I'm building to make my operations work even more smoothly.
And I think it's so crucial to understand business owners at any level, right? That it can be these simplified systems that you grow the system as the business grows. I know
Right.
too many people that try to jump, and I think this is a perfectionist thing too, try to jump to the systems that they think they need. And it's like, yeah, but what got you here won't get you there. And also, you're not even here yet. So why are we implementing
Exactly.
things that are
Why are
there?
we trying to go there? Yeah, yeah. Slow
Exactly.
down. Yeah,
Oh, I love that you're so aware of that and growing your tooling and your operations as you grow your business. So
yeah.
speaking of business growth, uh, the next component of this of the I move method is V for velocity. But not only business growth, you of course help your clients grow. So what tactics do you employ to really help your clients achieve their rapid growth and progress in their entrepreneurial journeys?
Yeah. So, one of the things that I think is really important about the way I work with my clients is helping them learn to celebrate the smallest of wins. Most of my clients come to me with these grand visions of all these things they want to accomplish and this list that is a mile long of all these tasks they want to do. And they look at it and then they just want to go hide in the corner because it's completely overwhelming and unrealistic for where they are right now. So when we can take all of those big things and break them down into their smallest pieces, and we have to choose one, we can't do all of them, but choose one thing. It's so helpful. And then we celebrate the little wins as they go. So I had this one client who she has so many aspirations about really incredible ways to make this world a better place. But she was really frustrated with herself because her house is just a mess all of the time. And she was living with this clutter that she was really just tired of. And so we figured out what where we could start. And she decided she was going to start with the dining room table, which had just been a catch-all space for years. She lives alone and she would just come in and drop everything on the dining room table and then not be able to find it again when she was ready to leave. And, all this stuff. Like, it was a mess. And so we started with the dining room table, and she spent like a set amount of time when we were together, and she just kind of body doubled the thing together, and she cleaned off the table. And that table, that was back in like February. And that little act of cleaning the table and then keeping the table clean has allowed her to move on, not only with keeping the house cleaner, and it's not perfect, but it's a progress, it's progress. And to celebrate that little win, which was actually a pretty big win for her, but like to acknowledge this is a big deal and you did this. And look at your table. It's clean and you can sit and enjoy a meal and you can, whatever. And so that's been so helpful. And now she's checking off some of those bigger goals, and it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah. What I love about that too is I think as entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, we underestimate the emotional and physical toll of having
Oh
those
yeah.
unfinished projects happening in the back of our minds. And I'm
Yep.
sure your client, like, once that's cleared up, it's like, oh, now I can focus more on my business instead of the shame of like,
Right.
and I've got
Yeah.
to clean that table, and I'm not cleaning that table, and like
Right.
those other
Right.
pieces.
Yes. And that's a battle I fight with myself often. It's like, well, I can't possibly sit down and write my email sequence because the laundry needs to be done. And, you know, that's not
All
how
those
all this works.
Oh, no. So I love that. Big golden nugget takeaway there is celebrate the little wins, and they can make an impact even if they're not business
Right.
related.
Exactly. Exactly.
So let's bring things home with the E of the I move method, which is all about execution. Why don't you share with us some of the major initiatives or projects that you're currently working on in support of neurodivergent women entrepreneurs?
All right. Well, I definitely was planning to mention kind of the big one, which is I'm going to be launching the Neurodivergent Women's Business Collective on October 1st. So it is designed especially for women who are neurospicy, or even if you just maybe think you are, if you are like, I kind of think maybe this, like I am. I need a full diagnosis. I'm very interested in that. But even if you're not, diagnosed, if you have trouble with those executive functioning skills, time management, organization, all those kinds of things.
If you've ever
Um,
watched a TikTok and went, that might
oh,
be me, and they're like, hey, this is ADHD, like
yep. If that's you, then I would love for you to join. It's a lot of fun. So, and it's built really around the idea of both coaching, certainly the ADHD coaching and accountability and making goals and reaching those goals individually. That's huge, and that will absolutely happen. And then the other piece is community. And again, as I've gone through this journey myself, to see how, I mean, I've built community in all of these little places where I've been, and it's been so helpful to be able to talk to people about the frustrations that I have about myself and my own business, and how am I going to get unstuck from where I am, and to help them as well. So to build that community of, okay, listen, yes, I know you're late everywhere you go, but we're gonna work on that. And that's okay. Like we can still figure this thing out. We can move forward. So building the coaching and the community together. So I'm gonna be having an event in September on the 19th and 20th. Just to help people get to know me a little better. I'm going to have some of the people that I've come across in my community over the past couple of years who are going to join me and share some of the things that they've learned as well, and some of their kind of specialties. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And so the whole thing will kick off October 1st. The other thing I want to just mention really quickly is it is back to school season. It is coming. Depending on where you live in this country, it may be coming really soon,
like this week.
or it may be, yeah, exactly, like maybe even this week. And for others of you, you've got a little bit of time left. But I'm offering a chance for families to sit with, like, to do a little homework first and let me know what are the pain points, and then have a 45-minute session to just say, how can you make this year a better year? What can you do differently for your morning routine? How are you going to set up homework in the afternoons with your kids? And how are you going to get to all these activities that they have and manage all of the things? Maybe feed them every now and again. I don't know, like all the things that ADHD moms have to do, or moms who don't have ADHD themselves but have kids who have ADHD, maybe also partners, because that's a thing. It just tends to happen in families. So, to help families settle into the school year. So that's there. If you check my Facebook, it will, all of that information will show up there. So,
Wonderful. So they can check your Facebook and or they can find you in other ways. Where do you suggest that we direct them to learn about going back to school, but also the Neurodivergent Women's Collective?
yes, both of those things can be found on my website, which is realfocuslifecoaching.net. So
Beautiful.
it's there. Yep.
Okay, excellent. So, if you're interested in learning more about Tracy and what she has to offer, especially if you're a neurodivergent business owner, entrepreneur, or you think you might be sure to check it out. Again, that is realfocuslifecoaching.net. And that link will also be in our description for this podcast episode and video. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your honesty, your candor, and sharing your experience across the areas of running a business in the iMove method.
Thank you so much, Taylor. It's been great.
So, for those of you watching and listening, be sure to stay tuned. We will have more Get Good at Business highlights coming your way in the future. But in the meantime, remember, we can get good at business together.